This is for you. Don't mess up your college choices. Are you thinking of how your college life will look like in less than a month? Are you not so patiently waiting for CUET results to come out? Are you even a teeny bit worried about how you'll choose the right college for you? If yes, worry not. I'm here to share all the juicy secrets about how to choose the college which is the perfect fit for you. So keep watching to learn. Hello everyone, hope you're all doing good. Here's how to create the ultimate preference list. This following segment is a brief introduction of how the college allocation system works. If you're already aware of how there will be rounds, how you will be able to make a preference list, if you already know how the system works, you can skip to this duration to find out the perfect formula for making your preference list. For those of you who don't know this already, firstly, wake up. Where have you been? Secondly, I'll attempt to share in very simple words how it works. So, a national education policy was introduced in 2020. It actually came in effect from the year 2022. So to say that from 2022, admission to all central universities has been centralized and a common university entrance test has been put for both undergraduate and postgraduate courses in these universities. Aside from central universities, some private colleges are also participating. So the CUET is sort of like a standardized test, like how the SAT is taken for colleges in the US and abroad, something similar to that. Once your CUET results have been released on the CUET portal, a new portal will be opening up, which is the CSAS portal. Now, CSAS stands for Common Seat Allocation System, and this is when you have to create your college course preference list. You will be given some days to create this preference list, and then later you will be given some time to edit it accordingly. The process of creating a preference list is actually quite simple. You just type the course, you type the college, and the option comes up. You can put the option as 1, 2, 3, up to however many options you want. So these would be your preferences, like how you would choose a club in school when there were a lot of students waiting for it. And what college you'll be allocated depends on two things. Firstly, it depends on your CUET score. If it is on the higher end, chances are you will be able to get your top preferences you listed. However, if it is on the lower end, it is okay, and you would probably get the colleges you put towards your lower preference side. The second thing it depends on is if you have any sort of reservation, quota, or extracurricular activities which you have listed. If you excel in one specific area which I just mentioned, chances are you will be able to move up the ladder of preference list even if you don't have such a good CUET score. This was just a brief of how the system actually works. There will be rounds to declaration of your college once your preference lists have been synced. In round 1, you may get your 10th choice of college. In round 2, you may get your 8th choice of college. After this brief introduction, let's get back to the key aim of this video, which was to help you create the ultimate preference list for you. So let's get started. Before actually getting into the video, the most important thing is this disclaimer. This video is to the best of my knowledge I've gained talking to people, seeing YouTube videos about college. So take everything with a pinch of spice. All of this is just suggestive advice, and there is only truly one person who can decide how your college life is going to be like, and that is you. I have divided this video into 4 segments so that it is easier and simpler for you to understand. Firstly, we'll be talking about location and accommodation. Since I'm a part of the University of Delhi, I would be speaking more towards that. So if you're not already aware, many DU colleges offer girls' hostels at least. Hostels are a good place to think about and consider. If not hostels, many students also prefer paid guests or PGs, and they are often quite popular among students because they offer more freedom. And these PGs are also located near your colleges. So location and accommodation are very important factors. Just blindly selecting a college based on the tag and not considering the region it falls into would not be a smart move for a smart person like you. There are just some places which are safer for college students, and there are some regions which just aren't. So make sure you're selecting your accommodation and your college based on those factors. And now the day scholar rant. I am myself a day scholar, and what that basically means is that I have to travel from one place to the other to reach to my college. I know people who travel from one side of Delhi to another side of Delhi just because they did not consider the location and went for the tag of the college. For instance, if you live in South Delhi, it would be smarter to put colleges which are in South campus closer to your home, upper ends of your preferences. Now, I understand that students look for the tag of college, but you also need to understand that many students hate going to college just because it is very far away. Whenever possible, try considering if there is an adequately good college in your vicinity and sort of put it on the higher preference order. The second point we're going to be talking about is expectations from college. Now let's face it, each student who wants to go to college has completely different expectations or on how they want their college life to be like. So here's how you can decide based on your expectations which colleges to put on the top of your preferences. If you're looking for quote unquote college life, I would highly suggest putting campus colleges on the top of your preference list. If that doesn't matter to you much, make sure to talk to your seniors on Instagram, LinkedIn and Reddit and find out what sort of faculty the college you desire has. Good faculty members can make your scores in college and they could also break your scores, to put it simply. If you want to be part of clubs and societies, go and put colleges which are synonymous for the societies on the top of their preference list without even thinking about it. I'm not name dropping, but famous colleges of DU are sort of known for the societies. Lastly, if you want to be more academically oriented in your college life, make sure to talk to your seniors and go for a college which is known for your degree. So for example, SRCC in DU is known for BCom honors. So if you really want to pursue BCom honors and you have a good CUET score, there should be nothing stopping you from putting SRCC on the top of your preference list. I think even option 1. Because academics and having that tag of college would really help in the long run. And for the love of God, please don't forget to talk to your seniors about faculty members, especially if you want your college life to be more on the academic side. Finally, the third point, and I think this is a point why most of you clicked on this video, course versus college. Should you give more importance to the course you desire or should you give more importance to the college, the tag? I would give one answer which is pretty straightforward. It depends. Because it honestly does. Let me break this down for you. I've seen YouTube videos of people and met people in real life who said that they were so happy because they chose their desired course over the name or tag of a college because now they don't hate themselves when they actually sit to study for exams. On the other end, I've met the same number of people who say that they were so happy that they chose college over course and they're able to manage studying for the course they didn't really want just because they are getting the exposure they really wanted. So how do you decide should you go for course or college? Honestly, it depends on your future plans. So let's take an example. Let's say you're from the commerce stream and you really want to be an economist growing up. The course you would most probably want to take is economics honors, right? Just because that aligns with your future plans. Now, if you know what you're going to do in your future and then you drop the course just for the tag of a college, that would not be a smart move. However, the majority of students I know who have just given their entrance exam, they simply don't know what course to take. In this case, I would suggest to opt for a course of your stream. So if you had the humanities stream in grade 12, make sure to stick to it simply because you already have the basic knowledge of it and college won't be as hard for you. However, if you have in mind the type of job you want or the course you really want to take, make sure to go after the course because selecting a college just for the tag of it would be a really unsmart move to take. Now, coming to the third category of people. People who just don't know what they want to do after their college and they just want to get a bachelor's degree done. This is the only time I would suggest taking a college just for the tag of it because if you don't know what you really want to do, expose yourself to different societies, expose yourself to different majors, minors, talk to different people, talk to people of your own batch, talk to people of seniors, talk to people of other streams and just get to know where it is your interest really lies and what it is you really want to do after college ends. Remember, at the end of your degree, your college is not mentioned on the degree you get, just the university name. But again, the charm of some colleges and the exposure they provide is unmatched. So it is truly your decision to make. Finally, coming to the fourth and the last segment for this video. And here are some general tips you should consider before making your preference list. Firstly, I know this is repeated, but this is so important. Find out how the faculty members at your desired college or course are from seniors on different social media sites. By this, you will be able to get an idea of how much time you would have to devote to your college academics and how much time you can set aside for extracurricular activities. Secondly, check if your desired college or university has any exchange programs available if you're looking for a more global college experience. Thirdly, I would say look at the sort of crowd your college gets. Firstly, there are a lot of co-ed and girls' colleges in India. So if you're a girl watching this, really consider whether you want to go for an all-girls college or you want your college life to be a bit of a mix if you want to go to co-education colleges. Now here also you could choose a good girls college, but if you really want that co-ed life, you can choose a college which is in campus so that you're still exposed to the kind of crowd you want. And speaking otherwise, there are just some colleges which have and attract a different crowd than other ones. If you're uncomfortable in that region with that crowd, make sure to not put that college on the upper end of your preference list, of course. It also holds true if the college is just generally more academically oriented or the college is generally more extracurricular oriented. That should also determine your preference list for college. Fifth, and I would say the most overlooked point of all, look at the courses which your college offers other than your decided course. So, for example, if you're looking at a humanities course and there is a college which offers it, but it is a science-centric college, I would say you should reconsider it. Now, the reason I say this is because in NEP 2020, you are supposed to take some add-on courses aside from those in your discipline. So there are discipline-specific courses and there are other courses which are mandatory for you to take. Now, if you are pursuing a commerce course in a science-centric college, the faculty who is able to provide these add-on courses would be science-centric. So you can think that coming from a humanities course, you would have to offer science-centric add-on courses which would not help your CV and not help you gain knowledge in the discipline you really want to gain knowledge in. This is not to discourage science courses. I was just giving an example that make sure the course and college you are going for has other courses of your discipline so that you can take add-on courses which complement your majors and minors. Saying this, I know that many students are unaware of what NEP 2020 actually looks like in college life. So if you want a detailed video of add-on courses you have to choose, what are the discipline-specific course like, and just regarding the general academic changes which have come in NEP 2020. So if you want a detailed video of that, make sure to leave a comment and that will be my next video for sure, I promise. That was all from my side. If you like this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and leave a comment on what kind of videos you would like to see. A Q&A seems the best option. What's it? Aside from this, I'm here to answer any queries you might have. You could comment them in this video or you could also reach out to me on Instagram at GreenSpeaks if you have any sort of queries regarding this video. I hope this video was helpful. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.